Today's seminar is all about mastering mindful eating. It's about building awareness and intention for healthy eating. So mindful eating goes beyond knowing what to eat, focusing on the importance of how to eat and taking control of your eating habits. Taking control of your eating habits starts with recognizing how our attitudes, emotions, environment, friends, and family impact our food choices. In this seminar, you will learn what it means to eat mindfully, along with simple techniques for dealing with emotional and mindless eating. So, as an overview, we're going to talk about when and why we mindlessly eat, what is mindful eating, how can we mindfully eat, and how can it help me to make healthier food choices, and how can I practice mindful eating in my own life. So, food is a central part of life that plays a role in many different situations. We know that what we eat plays a role in our health, but it also plays a large role in our social life. When we're with our family, food can be a way to gather everybody around the dinner table, or it can make us think of holidays with our loved ones. Food can be a part of how we experience vacations or travel, trying new foods along the way. Food can be a part of our work environment, maybe throwing a coworker a party for their work anniversary, or bringing in treats for certain colleagues. Food can also be a hobby for those who enjoy cooking, for example. Or it can be a part of how we experience and enjoy our pastimes, such as buying a hot dog at a baseball game or getting ice cream at the end of a summer day. So why do we become mindless when we eat? And we'll talk about a few different things. So first of all, time. We often are conditioned to eat at a certain time of day, but are we actually hungry at those times? Second, convenience. We sometimes eat just because the food is convenient and it's easily accessible. But do we need to eat those break room cookies just because they're on the table? Third, multitasking. We sometimes eat more than we need because we're distracted. So this can happen when we're watching TV, working, or even when socializing with family and friends. Because it's a habit. So habits can also promote us to eat. We may be conditioned to order popcorn at the movies, for example, or getting a funnel cake at a summer carnival, even if we're not hungry. Emotions. So emotions can also drive our eating choices. We may choose comfort foods that are high in fat and sugar when we're emotional, since we think it may help us feel better. And then the last is stress and coping. We sometimes let stress dictate our eating choices and use food as a coping mechanism with the hope that it's actually going to make us feel better. So, the facts about mindless eating. Mood and habits do matter. So, based on a lot of different studies are showing that we eat more even based on what kind of movie we're watching. So, for example, 28% more if it is a sad movie versus a happy one. So, studies are showing that people eat 28% more during a sad movie versus a happy movie. Studies are also showing that people eat 98% more snacks if it's an action movie versus something slower paced like a talk show. Stimulating programs distract you from being aware of what you're actually putting in your mouth. So we can eat up to 77% healthier when we are thinking about what we're grateful for prior to eating. And we are also going to end up eating more when we're in a negative mood or stressed. Americans tend to eat with their eyes and not their stomachs as well. So a good experiment to talk about for this is the refilling the soup bowl experiment. So an actual study was done. Adults were monitored while eating soup in an experiment. Some of the soup bowls had a tube at the bottom, causing them to automatically refill as participants ate. So the participants with the refilling bowls actually ended up eating 73% more than participants who ate from normal bowls. And this shows us that Many of us tend to rely on visual cues, for example, the empty soup bowl, than our own hunger and fullness cues when dictating when and how we should eat. So it's important to remember that we need to focus on those hunger cues and not as much the cue of the actual bowl being empty. So mindless overeating and health. Mindless overeating can impact us both immediately and long term. So for short-term effects of how it can affect our health, it can be bloating, heartburn, fullness, fatigue. I'm sure everybody's experienced those at some point. And then even long-term effects. By mindless overeating, we can increase fat storage and also increase body weight. So take a moment to look at these questions that are on the slide. Do you eat food just because it's there? Do you say, I don't care what I eat when you're upset? Do you feel like you have to eat a certain food just because your family and friends are eating them? So think about these questions. There's a huge difference between eating food you absolutely love and that you're looking forward to. For example, think about your grandmother's cookies or the burger on 4th of July that you always eat. There's a difference between that and eating food because it's there or because you feel upset or because you feel like you can't say no. These are questions to ask yourself throughout today's seminar. How do you respond to food? Do you feel that you have the power to decide over food, or do you feel that there are times when you're powerless when it comes to food? When and why have you eaten mindlessly? So think of a time when you ate mindlessly. When and why did it possibly occur? So mindful eating is being fully aware of all parts of the eating process. Some key parts of this practice include understanding the opportunities for nourishment that food provides, recognizing and honoring our food preferences and internal cues of hunger and fullness, choosing foods that we enjoy eating and that provide optimal nutrition to our bodies. So when we do eat mindfully, we truly take time to savor the eating experience. We accept how certain foods make us feel, and we choose to make food choices that support our health and our well-being. So mindfully make healthier choices. We can do this, and by doing this, mindful eating can actually help to improve health. Researchers have found that it can help us with losing weight, reducing emotional eating, controlling blood sugar, reducing stress and anxiety, improving mood, and increasing self-confidence. With these benefits in mind, let's take a look at the basics of mindful eating as summarized in the mindful eating cycle. So on the screen is the mindful eating cycle. Asking yourself these questions before you eat can help you become more aware of what you're actually doing. You may be driven to eat because you're actually physically hungry, but there are other things that can also trigger you to eat. Eating can become such a habit that you may not even realize what is driving you to overeat in the first place. It's hard to make changes before you are aware of your current behaviors. So try thinking about these different questions. The first one may be, why do I eat? So it allows you to explore your eating triggers. For example, hunger, stress, visual cues. Sometimes we're dehydrated and haven't had enough water, which causes us to think that we're hungry. When do I want to eat? For example, physical hunger, the time of day, certain emotions. What do I eat? Allows you to think about the factors involved in choosing a food. Do you choose it for taste, for nutrition, for comfort? How do I eat? Do you eat rushed? Do you actually eat mindfully? Do you eat when you're distracted? How much do I eat? Allows you to see how you decide food quantity. package sized? Do you eat as much as you want, out of habit, physical fullness? And where do I invest my energy? Allows you to see how you use the energy you consume. Does it make you feel energized, sluggish, guilty? How does the food that you choose make you feel? This cycle can help you to become aware of your behaviors and if they are best supporting your health and well-being. For example, if the answer to why you eat is because you're bored, then maybe you could work to find other things to occupy your time that don't involve food. So we're going to go through 5 practices for eating more mindfully. Now that you're aware of the mindful eating process, let's take a look at how we can apply that to our lives. Create a healthier environment. So here's one instance where mindless eating is okay. Mindlessly eat better by shaping your environment to help you be successful in making healthier food choices. By changing the environment that you're in to be more supportive of healthy choices, you won't have to make as many brain-draining decisions or use your limited willpower to resist temptations. Make the healthy choice easy. The impact that our environment has on our eating choices has been extensively studied by Dr. Brian Wansink, professor and director of Food and Brand Lab at Cornell University, where he is leading an he is a leading expert in changing eating behavior using principles of behavior science, such as environmental changes. His research is on the influence of our environment on how we eat and how changing our environment can change how we eat. So, create a healthier environment. So, to create a healthier environment, you need it to make it convenient and attractive to make the healthier decisions when it comes to food. Healthier foods need to be easy to access and visually appealing. Here are 5 ways to get started with creating a healthier environment. So, first of all, avoid purchasing trigger foods. Trigger foods are those foods that you find it difficult to stop eating after one serving. Keeping these specific foods out of the house will prevent you from overeating them and will then help you to not have to make the original decision in the first place. Keep only healthy snacks on your desk or counter. Keep healthy snacks and healthy foods where you can see them as a reminder to choose them over the less healthy snacks. Keep nuts or dried fruit in your candy jar instead of chocolate. The next one is keep less healthful food out of sight. Have you heard of the saying, out of sight, out of mind? Well, that applies here. When you don't see unhealthy foods, you'll be less likely to think of them when it's time to eat. Some specific examples of how you can do this are placing healthier food in the front of the refrigerator and less healthier food in the back. Hide the cookie jar and replace it with a basket of fruit. The next way to create a healthier environment is pre-portion foods into single servings. So to create a built-in reminder to listen to fullness cues once your dish or package is empty, this can easily help with making sure that we don't overeat by pre-portioning our foods. With the reminder to listen to your fullness cues, you can avoid going back for seconds or another snack because of the feelings of hunger. Only serve vegetables family style. So most Americans could use more vegetables in their lives. So this is a great way to attempt to actually consume more vegetables each day. As we said before, pre-portioning food is a good way to potentially keep ourselves from overeating, but it's a little different when it comes to vegetables. By leaving the vegetables out family style in bowls on the table, it may actually help us to eat more vegetables since they'll be on the table staring you down. So this is a good opportunity to actually eat more veggies during your meal rather than going back for seconds of something less healthy. Next up, choose a smaller plate. So a smaller plate or bowl is going to give you less room, which is going to give you a smaller portion. We have a tendency to clean our plates regardless of what our hunger and fullness cues are telling us. So an easy way to avoid overeating from large portion sizes is to serve yourself smaller portions in the first place. That way, even if you clean your plate, you'll be getting fewer calories than if you used a large plate. In fact, a study in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine found that people who choose a large ice cream dish instead of a medium one ended up serving themselves 31% more ice cream than those with the smaller dish. Another study found that when given free buckets of stale popcorn, people who had just eaten lunch would eat 51% more popcorn if given a large bucket than the medium-sized bucket. These people weren't even hungry, they had just had lunch, and the popcorn wasn't fresh, but they still ate more popcorn from the larger bucket. Plate or bowl size really does matter, even if it's not something we're consciously aware of. Choose a smaller plate, so this can really make it seem like you may be eating more. Another benefit of choosing a smaller plate or bowl is that it will seem like we're serving ourselves more in the first place. The size of our plate can really make a difference in how we perceive the amount of food we are served. Does anybody remember doing a similar optical illusion as a child, comparing to the one that's on the screen now? It may seem like a dot on the right, the dot on the right is smaller, when in reality, both center dots are actually the same. So we perceive food served on larger plates in the same way, whereas this same amount of food on the smaller plate makes us think that we're eating more and may help us to be more satisfied after eating. So after hearing the benefits of using a smaller plate, the question remains, what size plate should we try to use? Dr. Wansink actually recommends sticking to a 10-inch plate to keep portions under control. So limit your distractions. A review of how attention affects food intake showed that not paying attention to a meal or being distracted during the meal led to people eating more at the meal. People who paid attention while eating were found to eat less throughout the rest of the day. Limiting distractions while eating, whether that be TV, working, or reading, can help you to stay mindful of how much you are eating and pay better attention to when your body starts to tell you that it's actually full. If you aren't mindful while eating, your brain won't process the information, which means you'll be more likely to eat more or to eat again sooner, since you won't remember originally eating in the first place. So, to limit your distractions while eating, turn off the television, put away your cell phone, put away your tablet, computer, and limit socializing with other people. All of these things can take your mind off of eating and lead you to mindless eating more than you would like. So you want to avoid DWE, which is deciding while emotional. Who here has ever turned to comfort foods when you're stressed or sad? If you have done this, then you're likely guilty of deciding while emotional. This concept was created by Dr. Susan Albers of the Cleveland Clinic, a clinical psychologist who specializes in mindful eating. DWE can be explained as follows. When we are in an emotional state, it's hard to make a good decision since we're likely to shut our emotions out and our awareness of the world around us. When we're emotional, it is important to recognize your emotions and use them to inform your decisions and guide you to choose something that you are happy with. There are two ways that we can use our feelings to make a decision. We can make it emotionally driven, or we can make an insight-driven decision. An emotionally driven decision leads us to reacting to how we feel, whereas insight-driven decisions allows us to respond. Reactions can happen in a matter of seconds, as they are automatic behaviors, while responses may take some time to think through, and we can actually come up with a rational decision this way. This could happen because of many reasons, but let's look at being stressed at work as an example. So picture this. You come home from work feeling stressed after a long day. You have your moment of decision. You have to choose between making a balanced dinner or making a meal out of the snacks in your pantry. At this point, you have two options. You can either react and say, I can't do this anymore, I've had too much today, and snack in front of the television. Or you can take a mindful pause and think about how the snacks will make you feel afterwards, and if you will enjoy eating them, and decide to make a quick, healthful dinner instead. Or you can still decide to snack after your mindful pause. However, as this decision was made after some rational thought, you can maintain control of the situation, eliminate potential guilt from what you're eating, and make the better decision when it comes to nutrition. So continuing with this, when you are stressed and emotional, what are some strategies that you can use to regain control before you make an irrational, unhealthy decision? These suggestions can help you to refocus your attention on something other than your craving or what you are thinking you want in that moment, which can help you to lessen the craving and even potentially help you to get rid of the craving. So first, take a minute to meditate. Meditation can help to reduce stress and also to make you more mindful of your choices. By taking a few minutes to be mindful and regain awareness of a situation before acting, you can set yourself up to make more rational decisions that better support your health. Number 2 is walk it out. Exercise can help to release feel-good endorphins that improve your energy levels and mood and help to relax your body and mind. Walking specifically is a form of exercise that you can do anywhere and has been found to help reduce stress and lessen cravings from some unhealthy foods. Number 3 is flow. Yoga is a great way to combine exercise with meditation. It can help with stress release and improve your mood, which may be helpful in allowing you to make rational, thoughtful decisions. Try doing some sun salutations when feeling emotional before making important decisions. Use support. Social support from family, friends, or support groups can help you to reduce stress and improve mental health and decision making. Everyone needs help from time to time, so having a support system in place for when you need to release your emotions can help you to lessen the burden on yourself and make you more level-headed for when you need to make decisions. The last one is listen to music. Music therapy exists for a reason. Calming music has been found to lessen the body's stress response and to help somebody relax. The next time you feel stressed or find yourself about to make a decision based on how you feel in the moment, listen to a favorite calming song of yours first, and then afterwards, after you release some stress, sit down and make your decision to figure out which choice is best. So remember to also take a mindful pause. So the letters pause, we're going to go through each one very quickly, but P for perceive, stop what you're doing for a moment, tune in and identify that this is a moment where you're going to need to make a decision. A, allow 10 seconds for awareness to sink in. U, understand your feelings. Are you sad? Are you happy? Are you stressed or tired? Are your thoughts driven by insight or emotion right now? Is your body offering any clues about how you feel? S for stay. Stay in the moment. Try not to push your emotions to the side. Many times we don't want to feel what we're actually feeling, so we try to ignore it. Instead, ask yourself how you can use the feeling to guide you in your decision making. E, entertain. Entertain the option that you can decide between. Look at both options. If you're stressed, maybe you are looking for something that will truly relieve your stress, like a bath, going for a walk, or calling a loved one. But in the moment, giving in and digging your spoon into the tub of ice cream may also seem like a good option, but it's something that we would like to avoid. One option is to do what you think you want to do, eat the ice cream. Another option would be to not have the ice cream. Another option would be to call your friend instead of having the ice cream. The list of possibilities goes on. Sometimes just identifying that you have the options and alternatives to choose from gives you more power, which you can then put towards making an empowered, healthful choice. Instant gratification is all around us. We can buy food at a gas station or even at the office supply store. We make so many decisions each day that eventually we reach something called willpower depletion, commonly known as decision fatigue. Decision fatigue is when our willpower gets tired from overuse as we make decisions throughout the entire day. We choose the salad over the burger at lunch. We resist searching the web at work. After a while, this takes a mental toll. Our willpower may fail, driving us to act impulsively and make short-term decisions that don't support our long-term goals. For this reason, just say no. It doesn't always work. So, when you tell yourself, don't think about brownies, it often becomes even harder not to think about brownies. Taking a pause can help you to recharge your willpower and regain your focus for your long-term goals and the short-term goals that support them. If you're craving a banana split but are trying to control your weight, try pausing for a few moments and completing the mindful exercise that we talked about on the previous slide. Will eating this banana split really help you manage your weight over time? So again, we have 5 practices for eating more mindfully. Create a healthier environment, choose a smaller plate, limit your distractions, avoid DWE or deciding while emotional, and take a mindful pause. Also balance your choices mindfully. One final important message about mindful eating is that we can reach more sustainable and healthful eating habits if we focus on how we eat over what we eat. If we deem foods good or bad, then we may fall into an all or nothing mentality and experience negative emotions when we eat something that we deem bad. Example of this would be someone saying, I failed because I ate a cupcake, or I can't lose weight because I can't give up carbs. In reality, healthy eating doesn't have to have a strict set of rules, and you ultimately get to make the decisions. Cake at a wedding, a glass of red wine during a date. The key is to make a conscious decision in choosing to eat and enjoy that food as opposed to mindlessly eating that food without really enjoying it just because you're watching TV or you're stressed or sad. When we listen to our bodies and make mindful food choices based on what it's telling us, we can be more satisfied after eating and not feel guilty about consciously choosing to indulge in a treat every once in a while. Before we conclude today's presentation, think about everything you just learned. What is one thing you can do to eat more mindfully today?